A few days ago, I uploaded a video about EXP laner macro, but some of you asked what to do when you're losing the game as an EXP laner. So today, I'm going to give you a few tips on how to play when you're behind. Alright, let's start the game right away. I usually dominate my lane almost every game. You guys already know, I'm always killing enemies left and right like crazy. But since many of you requested a video about how to handle a losing match, I waited for the perfect game to show you. And this match, yeah, this is exactly that. This time, it's not like my teammates are weak, but only I'm doing good. Because usually when my teammates are struggling, I dominate my lane. But no, this match is the complete opposite. I'm actually the one getting dominated like crazy. Securing this XP crab with Paquito is easy against Lapu-Lapu, so I got the crab. But this Lapu-Lapu was actually smart, because he knew I didn't have my skills available, so he started hitting me with basic attacks. And Paquito, on the other hand, has almost no damage in his basic attacks. So he basically traded that crab for a big chunk of my HP, and honestly, that was a really good move from him. So just now, I did a small thing. I used my first skill to get the shield so I could safely walk closer to the minion and secure the XP. It's a tiny detail, but it's actually really useful, because for fighters, hitting level 4 before the first turtle is extremely important. You really can't afford to miss any minion XP. But remember, only do this if it's safe. If there's a chance you might die while trying to get that XP, don't risk it. You can always catch the next minion wave, but dying will set you back even more. Here, honestly, I thought that our Ling was about to be level 4, so I wanted to give little damage before Ling can kill him, but instead it's Lapu-Lapu who got level 4 and I was dead. And after this, he completely snowballed and started to dominate me completely. So here, I'm playing really safe, only going in when the opening is perfect and when my skills are ready. And because of that patience, I managed to pick up 2 kills. But I honestly have no idea what this Granger is doing in the bottom lane. Because he suddenly showed up and joined the fight, I ended up getting killed by him. You can see how I'm actually being really cautious and only clearing minions safely because he is 2 levels ahead of me. And honestly, I think many of you will relate to this kind of match. Because it happens to everyone. Even if you're normally strong, even if you usually win lane. There are some games where the matchup, the rotations, or the early mistakes just snowball against you. So I thought, perfect. This is the exact type of situation you guys wanted me to break down. A match where I'm not the one carrying from the start, but I still have to figure out what to do to bring the team back. And that's why this game is the best example. Because I'll show you how to stay calm, how to adjust your playstyle, and how to make smarter decisions even when you're losing hard. If you use these tips, you can still guide your team toward victory, even from a rough, painful start like this. Not only Lapu, but honestly the entire enemy team was full of good players. They were dominating us like crazy from every side. And the funny thing is, if you look at the kill score, it doesn't even look that bad. The kill gap wasn't huge at all, but the level gap and the gold gap, yeah, that was massive. You know those matches where you kill the enemy a few times, but somehow you still feel pressured, you still feel weaker, and every fight feels risky? That happens because kills alone don't matter as much as the difference in gold, levels, towers, or even team composition between the 2 teams. Look here, Ling used his full 4-blade combo, but Lapu's HP didn't even drop by a single bar, not even one. That alone shows how far ahead he is compared to us. I actually came here to guard Ling's blue buff, but instead they caught me off guard, and I ended up dying. You know that Lapu-Lapu is meta right now and actually sits at number 1 in the tier list. And when you're playing Lapu-Lapu and you're ahead of enemies, then you're basically unkillable. The same thing happened here. I thought I could take him down because his HP was low. I even landed my full combo, but still, I couldn't kill him, and I ended up dead instead. From this mistake, there's an important lesson you can learn. Always measure your damage versus the enemy's ability to tank it in that exact moment. This helps you decide whether to fight or back off. You can get a sense of this by looking at gold and level differences between you and the enemy. So next time, before going all out, check those differences first. Trust me, it can save you from unnecessary deaths. Hopefully, you learned something from my mistake here. Here, I'm just waiting for other squishy enemies to come close, because I'm playing a burst damage fighter. And then YSS came right into my range, and I was able to kill him. This is why you should always try to position yourself in unexpected bushes to surprise your enemies. You'll even notice in big esports tournaments that pro players do this all the time. They hide in places the enemy wouldn't expect, and then strike. It's a simple tactic, but extremely effective. As we are losing so bad, so fight head-on is not a good idea, so instead we are split pushing. And that gave us huge advantage because the map is opening really good and we could farm even better. Here, our Ling's blue buff is about to spawn, so we want to secure it. Since the enemies were in the mid lane, I took a different route to stay hidden from their vision. We didn't manage to get any kills, but at least Ling got his blue buff, which is still a good outcome. We are just avoiding fights and pushing and farming, which is the best thing you should do when you're losing. But that doesn't mean you should run away from every fight. There will be certain moments where your team has a real advantage. Maybe an enemy is low HP, maybe someone is out of position, or maybe your jungler just secured an important objective. When that opportunity comes, don't hesitate. That's your window to make a comeback. Take the fight, kill them, like I killed this YSS because he was out of position. This way his farming was stopped for 35 seconds. So the main tip I can give you, especially if you're using a burst fighter like Paquito, is this. Farm first. Stay patient. Don't waste skills on bad fights. But the moment you see the perfect chance, go in, burst someone, and take the gold. That's how you slowly turn a losing game into a winnable one. So here, we saw the enemy tank coming toward us, but I was standing with my marksman, and with damage, tanks can melt pretty fast. So we decided to engage. We managed to kill their tank, but our marksman still died in the process. But I didn't stop there. After taking down the tank, I had no skills left, so I pulled back for a moment, then wrapped around and went in from behind. This kind of rotation, circling all the way around and attacking from the back, is really effective for catching enemies off guard, especially their marksman and mage. But anyways, because of that fight, we were able to turn things around and win the game. It was a tough match, but that one smart engage made all the difference. So this next game is also kind of similar, but this time I'm playing Lapu and my opponent is Uranus. And man, this Uranus is really annoying. In this match, I was specifically the one falling behind, but the situation wasn't as bad as the previous game. Still, there are a few things you can learn from this match as well. And by the way, you might be wondering why I died so many times in the last match. Like I said earlier, for EXP laners, dying doesn't hold as much value compared to a marksman or assassin. But yeah, I admit, some of my deaths were just stupid. No value, no trade, nothing gained. I won't deny that. Don't mind those bad moments. I'm also human, and sometimes I play like trash too. Especially when the whole team is collapsing. That's when I start making silly mistakes back to back. But even from those mistakes, I hope you were still able to pick up some useful tips. If you're playing Hyper or Marksman, then you must avoid dying as much as possible. But the reason dying as an EXP laner is more acceptable is because your role, just like the tank, is to sacrifice when needed. You're expected to take risks and sometimes give your life as long as you get value out of it. For example, saving your marksman or assassin, helping secure Lord or Turtle, killing the enemy's main threat like enemy Hyper during an objective fight like Lord, or even trading your life to kill their marksman or mage. All of these are valuable deaths. So even if an EXP laner dies, it usually doesn't hurt the team as much as a marksman or assassin dying. as long as your death gives your team some benefit. Tanks dying in the early and mid-game is normal too. But in the late game, tanks actually hold a lot more value because they're the main frontliners. That's why even tanks start playing safe later on. EXP laners, however, can still sacrifice from early to late game. It's part of the role. So dying more than others isn't a big deal. Just make sure every death has a purpose and gives your team something in return. Here, I'm using my ultimate just to clear the wave faster. Lapu Lapu's ultimate has a really short cooldown, so there's no problem using it like this. It helps me clear the minions quickly and reset the lane without wasting too much time. Here, look at my main target. I'm chasing YSS like crazy. But even with all that pressure on him, he still managed to kill Lunox and even steal the turtle. I didn't have my ultimate at the start of the fight, so there wasn't much I could do in that moment. But once my ultimate came back, I was at least able to take down YSS. Even though he still gained more advantage overall, but stopping his farming for around 20 seconds is actually a decent trade. It's not the best outcome, but it's definitely better than letting him snowball freely. So here I got gang banged. I wasn't expecting to be ganked this way. Here, the enemies were caught off guard and made a small mistake. As soon as I noticed it on the map, I immediately went in to turn that opening into an advantage for us. We actually managed to get something good out of it, but it did cost me my life in the process. So here, I noticed that our marksman and our tank were rotating toward my side of the map. And even though Uranus is extremely tanky, the moment I saw my marksman coming, I knew we actually had enough damage to burst him down. So my job here was simply to stall him for a short amount of time. Just hold him in place, keep him busy, and not let him run away. And because of that small decision, we managed to secure the kill on Uranus. These little things might look simple, but they slowly build up your advantage. Small plays like this, stalling, delaying, setting up a target for your team, can help you win lane, win fights, and gain momentum little by little. To be honest, when you're losing, whether you alone are behind or your entire team is getting crushed, your mindset has to change immediately. The first thing you need to focus on is farming safely. Stay at a safe distance, clear waves without taking risks, and completely avoid fights when the enemies are grouped together. When they're stacked, you won't win those fights, so don't even try. Instead, always keep your eyes open for small opportunities. Farming is the main key to coming back in a losing game. Yes, kills matter too, but kills are also a form of farming because they give you gold. The whole point of comeback gameplay is simply to collect more resources than the enemy, however you can. Whether it's split pushing, stealing buffs, punishing enemy mistakes, taking creeps, or clearing waves, all of these are just different methods of farming. So no matter what the situation is, play safe, stay alive, and farm using every possible way. Because at the end of the day, the gold and level difference is what makes a game feel easy or hard. If you're behind in gold and levels, the enemy will always feel stronger. If you're ahead, the game suddenly becomes easy. But yes, team composition also plays a huge role. If the enemy has a better lineup, it becomes harder to fight them head-on. But even then, it still depends a lot on player skill. A strong hero composition alone isn't enough to win. Your macro skills, your farming efficiency, and your mechanics matter just as much. So if you're losing, keep farming, avoid bad fights, take every chance that appears, and slowly close the gold gap. That's the real secret to turning a losing match into a comeback. Look here, I actually wanted to go and pressure YSS, but the fight was really chaotic and I completely lost track of where he went. That's why I ended up jumping on Ixia instead, and honestly, that turned out to be a really good decision. The ideal play was to mark YSS, but after that Lord Steele, the biggest threat was their marksman. So taking her out first was the right call. Once I killed Ixia, our team immediately gained the upper hand. And lastly, I just want to say, never lose hope, even if you're losing or dying like crazy. Sometimes the game feels boring, stressful, or completely hopeless. But if you keep pushing, keep pressuring, and somehow manage to turn the game around, that feeling of winning a match you were supposed to lose is absolutely amazing. So don't give up. Those comeback victories hit different.